up guys? Evan here again with another deck review, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Ace Fulton's Casino decks from Dan and Dave. This is the third deck in the Fulton series. First there was the Fulton's Clip Joint deck, then the Fulton's Chinatown deck, and now we have these two Ace Fulton's Casino decks, and they come in what they called a Sunset Orange and a Tobacco Brown. Let's get into the review. We'll talk about the boxes first. So the boxes are the same, just different colors, and you can see the front, it's sort of a sign like that would be in front of a casino, and this one says Ace Fulton's Casino, and that has some nice embossing, and the same is on the back, which is sort of what we saw with the Fulton's Clip Joint deck. It had the same image on the front and the back. And at the top of the deck, it says Fulton's in a nice font. The bottom says Cambric 37, made in the US, and that's the finish. These have cambric finish. This side says Ace Fulton's Casino, and there's an address, which is supposedly the address of this casino, but the casino doesn't actually exist. The address actually leads to some different casino in Las Vegas. And on the other side it says distributed by the Dan and Dave Playing Card Co., Hollywood, California. So there is the box design, and also on the flap right here you have a nice spade which has a very cool design in it, and it's actually embossed on there as well. And then on these flaps you have a 3 and a 7, and the inside right there it says compliments of, and the same on both decks. Now I don't actually know what the 3 and the 7 are for. It could be used as a reveal, I guess, but for some reason I don't think that's what the real meaning of having that. Now since this is a casino themed deck, they actually put some security measures in the design of the deck, and I found a few of them, and I'll show you them as we go through the design of the deck. The extra cards are the same in both decks, so we only need to look at one of them. The first one says Aces High, and it says Poker Room and Lounge right there. Then it's got a phone number, and if you actually call that phone number, there's a recording of Brad Fulton, and he picks up the phone and says something which is pretty interesting, that Dan and Dave actually went that far with the deck. And the other side of that says some other things, and it also shows who it was designed by, produced by, and illustrated by. And then you have this ad card, which is a tip sheet, I guess, and it's for betting on horse races. So that is pretty interesting. Now again, the Ace of Spades and the Jokers are the same on both decks, so we only need to take a look at one of them. The Ace of Spades is pretty simple, but it has a nice design that I really like. So there is your Ace of Spades, and it says the D&D Playing Card Company. So that is a pretty nice looking Ace of Spades. Now we'll take a look at the two Jokers. The Jokers are the same, so we only will take a look at one, and it's a really nice looking Joker. It's a lady holding a martini, I guess, and there's a lot of little things, like you can see there's a cherry, and it looks like it should be like an earring. There's a spade, a club, a heart, a diamond in the cup, and you also see at her foot there's a 7, and then the other foot there's a diamond, and there's a couple more 7s hidden in there. So that is a really cool looking Joker, and it really goes well with the theme of the deck, and I really like it. Now the number cards are pretty much standard, except that each card has one pip that is like this, and I'm really not sure what it is supposed to be, but it looks like a spade that is cut out of a heart, and you can see that there. And I'll show you guys some of the other cards. Like this one, you can see that it looks like a diamond is sort of cut out of the heart, and that is on every one of the number cards in every suit too. So that's something that's sort of interesting about the deck. And another interesting thing is that all of the cards in the heart suit have the pips upside down. So you can see the heart is upside down, and again on the 10 it's upside down. Both ways you look at it, it's upside down, and that's sort of weird. And it's only on the hearts, it's not on the clubs, spades, or the diamonds. And the reason for these is that since it's a casino themed deck, they actually put security measures into the cards. So that is probably what that is. And also on the brown deck, the Jack of Spades is smoking something, and on the orange deck, he isn't. Another interesting thing is that only one court card has one pip that is designed differently than the other ones, and you can see it there. And it's the King of Spades. And I was told that there were many other security measures hidden in this deck, so it's going to be hard to find them all, but those are just a few of the ones that I saw. Now in both decks, the color scheme on the court cards is brown, orange, and black, and that's with both of the decks. So the court cards are standard with some recoloring, and for some reason the eyes look a little different. I'm not sure if they actually are or not, but the court cards do look very nice. And another thing that you'll notice is that the indices in the corners are very small, and they're not a standard size. They look a lot like the acorn back decks, where the indices are smaller than usual, and it's something that you don't really see on a lot of decks lately. Another thing about the design is that the faces of the cards are not actually white, and the border right here on the back isn't white, it's all off-white. So now let's take a look at the back design for each of the decks. Both decks have the same back design, just a different color, and the back design is one of my favorite designs because it's just so simple, and it's like casino decks such as Jerry's Nuggets and the decks from the Wynn Casino and a lot of other casino decks. And this one, you see, it's just the logo of the Ace Fulton's Casino, and it's just mirrored as a back design. And I don't know if they did this on purpose, but the words seem to form a spade, which I think is pretty cool. Now another thing that you'll notice is in the corners there's a little cutout part, and it makes the corners look pretty interesting. Now I'm not sure why they did that, but it sets the deck apart from other decks. Now you'll take a look at the brown deck. I prefer the orange one, but the brown one still looks very nice, and that one also has the cutout part in the corners. So there are your back designs for the Ace Fulton's Casino deck. Now that we've seen the design of the deck, let's take a look at the handling. As with most of the Dan and Dave decks, they don't usually tell us what the stock and finish of the decks are, but for this one, as you can see on the bottom of the box, it says that it is cambric finish, but they don't say the stock. To me, it feels like it's B stock, but I'm not exactly sure about it. It's a thick stock, and it takes a little while to break it in, but once you break it in, it's a really nice, not too soft, but not too thick stock. So that's really nice. So let's take a look at the handling. I'll use the orange deck for the handling. The deck fans very nicely. It doesn't look that great in fans. It's not a really nice design for fanning. But for the faces, you can see the indices because they're so small, and that's something that I like about the deck. It's great for pressure fanning once you break in the deck because it gets a little softer, so it's very nice for pressure fans, and you can see that in the back as well. It's really nice for dribbling and for springing. The stock is very, very springy once you break it in. The deck is also great for lapel spreads. So the handling of the deck is really nice. The stock is not too soft, but not too stiff either. And there is a good amount of ink saturation because there's a solid color with a border. But the stock can definitely handle it because it feels like a thicker stock. So these are going to be a pretty long-lasting deck, which is a great thing. These are actually sold out, and they sold out pretty fast. So if you can get your hands on them, I definitely recommend that you do, because it's such a cool deck, and I'm really glad that I own these. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.